necessary. All right, I have to remember to like pause. So in our manual, you don't have to look right now. We have our sequence A and our sequence B. And when I was a new teacher, this is primarily what I taught from was. And I got to know sequence A better than I knew sequence B, but over the years, I've like mixed them up a lot. This is approximately a 90-minute class. Ish, so you can take things out or add things to it if you're delivering it or doing your own practice. And then like I was saying, the very importance of the Shavasana or the integration at the end is so important. So let's come on to the back. And we'll just start with body check-in. So we'll just drop, we had some good talks and interesting topics, and now we'll just drop into the body. And you can take from your circular warm-up or just like let your body move intuitively, just let it settle into the floor and be like, oh, maybe your hip is popping or shoulder. Just do a little check-in, stretch out. Check your breath. It doesn't need to be any type of systematic breathing at the moment, just kind of stretch as if you were just waking up into your body. You can bring the knees in and circle the back. So just taking a few elements from the circular joint warm-up, we'll go into it. But a lot of times in the morning when I'm doing body check, I like to kind of, especially for the pelvis, if you're flexible, your hips might pop when you're sleeping or be in a different position. So I really like to try to neutralize my hips and my pelvis. I just check if there's any pops or unalignments there, see how I'm doing. Do some twist and range of motion test. And every day it could look different, you know? So I think again about the concepts from the circular joint warm-up. And again, we're gonna go into it more detail, but now I'm just kind of like acquainting myself with my body in the morning. I'll just take note if there's any like little crunchies or salty pieces or something that I'm like, oh, what's that? So just taking note. And then we'll go into normal body stretch. Long. And then from here, I'm going to place my feet on the floor and flatten out that arch in the low back as much as I can. And I'm gonna think about my abdominals in my core generally, and I'm not gonna go into strong ab works, but I'm gonna fire up the core a little bit. So when we start like that, there's many different ways to fire the core. I kind of keep in this intuitive movement and I'll bring one knee at a time and think of closing the abdominals and just kind of like start to fire slowly, still in this vibe of exploration. How's my body doing? Feeling on each side when I bring one leg up. I'm just bringing awareness. When I bring one leg up and one leg down, I can feel it in my lower abs, feeling the location of my ab, and then also bringing my hands maybe to my upper ab. Do I feel anything there? Just seeing where things are engaging. And then from there, I'll place both feet on the floor and I'm lengthening my spine. I often kind of walk myself long to make sure I'm not crunched up and I can be extended as possible. Take myself a little longer. Then I'm gonna just crunch or concave the abs and look between my knees and have a little bit of engagement. And kind of like Pilates style, I'm gonna engage and just do little lifts. And if you need to support your neck, it's fine. So I'm just trying to turn on my abs. This is different for everyone. I'm gonna squeeze my pelvic floor and hold up. And you can add your little exhales, Pilates style. Pilates is an amazing complementary therapy or body work for just the core balance and posture. So I'm just like really pulling into the floor, 4, 3, or 2, and then I'll inhale, take the arms back and stretch legs along the floor. So just a general core, and now I'll localize the abs. So we have upper, middle, lower, transverse, and obliques. So now I'm gonna take my legs straight up and squeeze the knees together. I'm gonna look at my knees. And here we're gonna target the upper abs. So right into the concave of the ribs when I lift and look at my knees a little more. You feel that in the upper abs, right in that area. So we're gonna do our little lifts. So and you can even hold the knees, whatever position you need to be, or reaching. And then trying to go deep and feel the ribs closing. 4. And steadily go down the back. And 1, and inhale and stretch. So a little upper abs firing. And you feel that solar plexus area, like woo. Turning on. So this is obviously from my dance training. They don't really isolate the abs like this in yoga, but I feel like it's super useful. So we'll bring the legs up again, and now we'll target the lower abs. So for this one, I bring my hands under to support my low back. And I take my legs to like maybe 15 degrees now. I'm pulling my belly in. I bring them up and a little lift and a squeeze. So I'm really trying to squeeze. So I'm going down, tension here, like when you get period cramps, low, and then up, lift, down, up, lift. So down, up, lift, keep going down, up, lift. And so when you're lifting, keep going. Up and stop here, and then like try to touch my fingers with your toes. So it's like I would here. Yeah, so it's more less back and just like, oh, and I want to squeeze, and that's like you can get in your little abs and down, up, lift. Let's do 2 more. Up, and the movement doesn't have to be big. It's like a lurching more than a movement, and bring the knees in. So firing those low abs, like I was talking about how they tuck last night. It's very difficult for people to even find those abs. So that's going to be like your question last night also, or like, is the abs engaged? If that is activated, they will be engaged.
Yeah.
Like that's the place. And most people, either they've had children, they don't feel through their pelvic floor. A lot of people have no feeling here.
Yeah.
Women have no feeling. Because they just like, whatever their shame and their psychology, they're gone. You know, so it's like, that's a pandemic, is like epidemic,
Yeah.
is the low abs. So the upper ab, the full core, and then that low ab. So then we have also obliques. So if I come down, maybe I'll take a block just so to stay more comfy for my head. And if I take my legs to the side, so obliques, if you're working on the waist, they're the ones that do that. So I can have my knees like even more bent, you'll see for your body. And then I'm just like kind of the thing, I have my arm coming behind, and I'm just bringing the bottom of my ribs towards the top of my hip, and I'm feeling that oblique in that area. So I'm really trying to get in there. And we're just kind of like feeling all the layers of the core working together. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. And you can just let that arm go open and down. And I'll just roll to the other side or flip my legs to the other side. So lining myself up. right here, and then reaching, and then finding that oblique. And again, if you need to examine with your hands what's going on, get in there, and up, and up, and at the same time, I'm pulling in from the previous places that I stretched. So I'm pulling in from the low abs, I'm pulling in and firming the front of my torso. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1, and you can let that arm open in a little stretch. And then from there, let's come onto our back and we're gonna move through the circular joint warm up. So let's double it today. We're gonna take both legs up and we'll do both ankles and feet at the same time. And then switching your circle direction. And then when I move down to my knees, I'll just bring my legs a little closer together and I'll just take them down and out to the side. It's kind of like I'm doing an 8. I'll come down through the center and out. Okay. Or if you've ever done like a really good heels class, you know, this is a great way. I'm in my hips and in my knees right now. So I have rotation happening in my hips and that's kind of activating the meat through my thighs, my quads and my hamstring. This is a really great, I mentioned that I love to biohack or just like save time because I'm busy and have a lot of cool things to do. So if I can stack my exercises so they have different results from one action, I do that as much as I can. So just a little warm up, warming up the thighs for 4. So yeah, 1 is the whole 8, I guess. 3, 2, and 1, good, and then shake the legs, and then if you feel like you need some more rotation in the hips, I'll just like hold my knees and kind of circle and see. And circle out, and then circle back in. So just remembering all of like when we make shapes in the body, we can make shapes anywhere in the body, big or small, for a long time, for a short time. And that's pretty much how you freestyle inside of your movement or inside of your, okay, I only have 5 minutes. How am I gonna like get just like wake up my body, you know? Alright, so from this action, now we'll go into a breath of fire, again for warming into the abs. So this one is really, it's cool. I think of inflating, a big inhale, and then I'm gonna do, I'm like pushing the air out with little exhales. We're gonna try to do about 20, Yani, 3 reps. So we'll do, again, so we'll breathe in and begin and really contract and went. And breathe in. So I just did 25, maybe even 30 is easy to do, but yeah, go until you're. And a big breath in, and next round in. And inhale. And again. Breathe in. And feel that fire, feel that warmth through the core, solar plexus activated. So now feeling energy moving, let's just move into the shoulders, and so going through shoulder rolls. I always really encourage people to kind of freestyle the shoulders, like I'll give them ideas or like examples what to do, but then maybe someone doesn't need to roll, like most of us don't need to roll front, or if we roll front, then I make sure I counter it with a roll back, or even these like scapular rolls, ones we did last night. I do a lot of those with, maybe I'll take my arms out and I'll help like let the floor kind of guide me a little bit. And I'm just trying to bring movement down in that upper body. Nice. Other side. So we'll go through the set list, I guess. Don't worry if there's some poses that you haven't seen or whatever, I'm sure that you can manage, and then we get into like breaking down the poses. If there's anything that I see that I'm like, whoa, don't do that, I'm sure there won't be. Don't worry, I'll definitely mention. Yeah, just do your best to like follow along with what your current knowledge is.
I think hard to locate that's.
The collarbone or the scapula?
Scapula, like that movement that inside.
Yeah, out to the side a little bit, yeah, it's yeah, no, we're frozen, we're locked, like, as a culture around the world, I mean, locked, like. Again, I have come from a place where this is what I'm doing all, like, I need them to like slide all the time. And I've done a lot of trainings, I'll send, like I said, I'll send this lady Deb Rubin, she's amazing. Her quality of movement, she's like. 47. Her quality movement is just gorgeous. And she has like scoliosis, kyphosis, it was running in the family, and so she took it upon herself to like, she just got into body work, that's how a lot of people healing themselves is their journey, and she got into a lot of that, and developed this really cool program, Dance Therapeutics. So I have level 1, I think there's 4, I did have a level 1 in January. And it was one of the most amazing trainings I've ever taken. It really put together my knowledge of dance and my knowledge of yoga in a very practical.
Yeah.
And I was like, it wasn't anything new, it was just how she presented the information that gave me a deeper understanding of what I knew.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna learn a lot, and then as you learn, you're like, I already kind of know that. But it's just like, you go deeper and you go more, it's more depth.
Yeah.
And then, you just see what is possible for the book, and sometimes it's super crunchy. You know, or maybe you're like, oh dang, I need a massage, like, you know. But I spend a lot of time with the balls, like I'll roll a lot through this, like under, like around the edge of the scapula, cause it gets really bound up. So the scapula, like even though they're bolted onto our front here, for us, it's not that way. It's kind of like, it's like inside of a meat sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, and it's actually gliding, like what holds the arm on the body is the collarbone. So you know when people break their collarbone, they go into a cast,
Yeah.
they go in a sling.
Yeah.
Because it can't dangle. If you think about it, your arm connects here. That's how the arm is held on by the body on the sternum. So the shoulder blade's floating inside of me, like between the bones. And then the only thing that's in the arm is connected to that. And then the only thing that's holding it on the body is thumb. So the clavicle position. That's why we're like, stress. And that will be like, and that's why we hold from here. You know what I mean? And even with all my knowledge, like my subconscious goes to that. Like I have to like reset multiple times a day. You know, when I wanna be like good. And then I'm very hyperactive mentally, so it's like just from here. So like this cues of moving from here. Or like if you're doing dance or ballet, when they present the arms from the back. That wings from the back, like that is so essential. Like people with dance I don't know how people do any type of body work without dance.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, how do you do body work if you don't get, even if you get into yoga, it needs to be some type of fluid movement because you're moving energy, you know, so
Yeah.
it's yeah. Thank God for you, that they figured it out, but yeah, the clavicle is just like floating. It can really be like, and when we sleep, it can be like moved, or it can be like,
Yeah.
it really, it's pretty much our most mobile point because it's not locked into any, it's literally floating inside feet. So let's transition into table pose and then moving through the 6 movements of the spine. So coming from your table pose, there's many rules on table pose. I tell people just see where you go naturally. Some key points in table pose will include having a softness of the elbow, making sure the crease of the elbow is not like forward, like a lot of people go like this. I'm activated, just chill. Like you want to actually feel this like springy feeling like a gecko, like this gecko feeling. This will actually help your physics, or when you're jumping into handstand or doing any like stunts like that. And then this tent of the fingers activates through the palm, this different line of fascia along the bone. That gives you a more into the core. So we want to think for movement quality, we want to think like how to say, we wanna think like the bone, or moving the bones. More, a lot of people are most people are moving superficially. From like the outside of their body, but if we're
Yeah.
moving from like where the muscle connects to the bone, that's the strongest quality of movement and the safest.
Yeah.
So when we come into these different positions and we activate, I'm thinking of my low abs that we activated kind of coming in and up to support my low back. And then when I bring my hands down, I kind of just do it automatically now, but I have this tenting feeling. And this like gecko feeling that I can be here, that I can be springy at any time like that. And keeping the elbows, the point of the elbow turned out and a little pointy and never locking, because like, well, no one's hopefully gonna do that, but if you went here, someone is totally screwed.
Yeah.
Cause you're in a compromised position. So having just always a little bit of bounce to that. And then being able to breathe, this is also another great way to warm the shoulders is in this position because I'm sliding. So now I'm gonna just take my body in circles. It's like a cross between cat and cow, the flexion and extension and side to side. So if I just kind of like roll myself. And again, I'm thinking of kind of keeping my body flat. I'm just moving. And then also just like giving myself permission to move. And not feeling like I have to have my hands stuck in one position. If I want to move them, I can. That's probably the biggest thing for students is they like don't deviate at all. And I'm like pure deviate, you know, like so it's like learning the rules to break them kind of thing. And then I'll think of also arching the side. I want to go through my ribs. And just open, if I feel a part in my back, I wanna stay a little longer. Welcome. Because it's not always cat and cow that we need. If cat and cow are the only actions that you're doing, it's gonna be overused, you know? And we already overuse ourselves on the front and back planes, so. I got intense integrity of the fascia. And that's why it's so important actually for cross training, different styles of dance, different types of athletics, different types of yoga. I am not a Puritan of any form. I have many forms that I've integrated deeply into my body, and now I mix them all. Based on what I need for that day or what's going on. Just a few more. And I'm really trying to think of that skin and fascia along my back, especially this line, like when we were saying arms from the back, I really try to open. Because I can kind of get into that here. And for a large segment of the population, that part is not, people don't feel their back. People don't feel their body at all, like they're like not even. They don't feel their, I'm shocked. few more breaths. Do 2 more long breaths. And going into any areas of the back that you feel like you missed, or the shoulders. And then I'm gonna curl my toes under and start to press back. And get used to this action, where when I press back, I'm like holding through the abs and I keep my legs super bent, and then I just go back. Getting used to that, rolling on the feet and then slowly pull it up. So coming to standing and then just letting your bones settle where they go. So for the mountain pose, this is our first standing pose in the basis of your best pose standing. Basis of all standing poses. Feel free here, back into these blocks. This is a really interesting hack. So you might want to fit, because you're shorter than me, but putting the block here and then bringing your legs together. And then just like adjust your pelvis. So like often we have like this line of our crotch goes like mostly, so I'm gonna really bring it forward. And I'm gonna kind of adjust. And now I'm squeezing. And I'm gonna really think about the connection of my foot. So this block really allows us to feel the stability of our pelvis and the width of our pelvis when we don't have the block and we stand. It's like I collapse a little inside of myself. So when I teach whirling, one of my topics that I teach, not when I was in Berlin because I didn't have blocks, but I teach it from this standpoint with the block. And then I get them to, oh wow, you're so vertical. It's really about keeping your verticality. It's a verticality axis. So most of the time when I don't have it, I can feel my line is bent.
Yeah.
Slightly. I look maybe straight from like, I look aligned from the outside, maybe also straight, but and then, but I can feel that I'm not, versus when I have this.
Yeah.
So this is like a very strong and if my glutes engage right away, all of my adductors engage right away, I just feel this wrap. Like we were talking about the spiral of the muscles and the spiral of the bones. There's no straight lines in the body.
Yeah.
Everything's like, even if we look, the trees are all like just how things grow. So we have to acknowledge that we're like so separated from nature. So squeezing and having this very frontal feeling of openness through the front of the pelvis that we don't often get. We're often sitting and it's closed or folded. So this open feeling, we really want to get this lengthening feeling of reaching up, taking like the psoas muscle coming through and supporting and just trying to feel our architecture from this way. Also, it provides for me a very strong base for my feet. So I feel like my feet just feel super way more grounded and I'll just move through. So in Kripalu yoga, we have a concept called the tripods of the feet, which it's the heel and the outside and the inside ball of the feet. So we have like these 3 prongs for the floor. So I want to try to make sure that my feet, my weight is divided between these 3. A lot of people are rolled out or rolled in, or they don't know. Flat feet is a huge thing in Egypt. A lot of people I work with have flat feet here, and I don't know if it's a genetic or because they wear shib all their life and there's no support, you know. So for me, it looks like fallen arches.
Yeah.
A lot. Like I've been shocked. I'm like, dude, like a lot of people that I've worked with here, more than ever in the West, until maybe they're old, have fallen arches. I had one of my friends and clients, he was doing a keto. He's like, I can't get my footwork. Like, can you have a, send me a video of what you're doing, show me. And I was like, dude, your foot. So he was kind of like timid of the floor. It's like, no, you have to be like how we were doing that with the hands.
Yeah.
It's like that for the feet also. So having that tripod of the feet and then letting everything kind of come up from there. Because when people are like, oh, you have to be grounded, like That's what that means, like.
Yeah.
Boom, down, on the ground, you know, like in the ground. And usually like with this bouncing plie, but I'm going like tight to feel this opening, so I can feel my verticality axis super tall and super long. And this engagement through my glutes and my hips to kind of like hold me. As I was mentioning last night, this is like our prime real estate and our major activators. If we don't call upon these muscles to be awake, our other parts of our body are gonna take that load and cause a super imbalance. So it's like activate the glutes every day as much as you can, and like the thighs and the surrounding. So the block. And anytime that you're practicing and you're like, I need to extra ground, oof, the block is a really good, yeah, it's really amazing prop. So for the mountain pose, I'm gonna stand with my feet separated. I'm gonna kind of go into that feeling and kind of pushing out. Another concept that we have in Kripalu yoga is the press points, and we'll go into the picture later on today. So as an example, if you're standing there and you're a student, we have the press points of the feet. We have the press points of the knees, inside and outside. We have press points here and here. The chest is one, the collarbones is one, and the crown of the head. So if I think of expanding into all these, I'm very alert and expansive. So it's a cue that we can use for students. Remember the press points, and then you don't have to touch people because people can be weird. I'm very handsy and comfortable with that, so sometimes people aren't. So that I don't have to touch them, I can say, press into my press points, and then they can press into the press point.
Yeah.
Okay, love them. Good morning. Good morning. And so you can just activate. You say, okay, extend into the press point, extend into the press point, and lengthen up.
Yeah.
And so that's a very good adjustment. That you don't need to be so hands-on, and it gives them the chance to correct themselves.
Yeah.
So then you, as the teacher, you can watch. And you can be like, see what they think the press points are to start, and then be like, oh, maybe try this.
Yeah.
So I will always make a suggestion, maybe try this, or how is this? You know, I'm not gonna propose something and say like, do this instead. Yes, exactly, because maybe it doesn't work for your body.
Yeah.
Maybe the understanding of what I have for my body is not the same thing. So we'll think about the press points as we're activating and standing, and let the arms go long. I want to have an activation of the lines of energy. So every line of my body, every line that it's making, I can activate the line. So if I go with my arm like this, it's a lot different than if I go with my arm like that. So again, the intentionality, the pushing, lines of energy. So I have my line of energy now, my feet, my legs, my torso, and then I'm also gonna extend downward. So every part of my body is like with a bolt of lightning through it. And reaching up to the crown of the head and reaching down. So we'll just stand in this mountain pose, the quiet mountain pose. We'll do our 4 breaths here. So I'm squeezed, it looks like I'm just standing, but I'm actually really engaged. So I'm breathing. And when you're standing in full engagement, it could be harder to breathe. So I'm really pushing down through my fingers. You can spread the fingers or bring them together, whatever one feels more decent for you. And then I'm thinking of just like lengthening, pushing down, squeezing, and moving outward my energy expression in all directions. And 2 more breaths here. And then you can just relax. Then we'll take 2 integrating breaths. So in my relax, I like to just maybe step it out a little bit, but it's not necessary. But yeah, just and we take 2 breaths, integrate what we just did. So this practice really kind of gives you space and time to chill. There's different times in yoga where you're like, inhale up, exhale down, inhale, jump back, exhale, you know, like we can do that too with all of the forms that we're going to learn. But this is more of like a self-exploration and body maintenance practice. So the next option is full mountain pose, which is the same as what we just did, except the arms are up. So when it comes to arms coming up, everyone is different, so if we put our hand here on our shoulder, and then we bring our arm up. This way. And then back, and we bring our arm out to the side. So what is the most important? You can feel the resistance of the shoulder wanting to go up when we do this. So it's very important that when we're doing that, we keep the shoulders out of the ears, as they say. So when my arm goes up, my shoulder stays down, doesn't go up like this. I always want to keep my earring visible. Like I'm always displaying this part of my body. So it's up to you. You can, some days I feel like more robotic and I want to go like this, or I want to feel more expansive. Both are okay. So to bring your arms up. So I'm going to ground into the floor and stay strong, mountain pose. So mountain is like if I were to come up and be like, boom, and check you, you're like, not moving. I'm not going to do that. But we're going to go up. So we can think of taking the arms up, and it doesn't have to be pure overhead if it's uncomfortable. Some people can't do this. They can do this, or they need to do this because of the rotation of the shoulder. And we'll get into that more in anatomy and like body like originalities and things like that. And so just remember, everyone's arm position could be different. When I come up, I'm gonna be careful of this and close everything again. I think of the pubic bone and the upper abs here. It's like I'm holding my water bottle, boom, here. So it's like that kind of a hulking out feeling. And you might feel forward at first, actually, like most people's position of their body for straight being, we usually are like this. If I stand like this, I have that, but I'm actually like my straight point is to be like this and actually lean forward. For me, I feel like I'm like this, but this is my actual alignment, is to be forward like this. And it feels very unnatural. Like if you just let your skeleton go where it goes, it's it has a mind of its own. So let's bring our arms, we'll activate the feet coming into strong mountain pose, we'll bring the arms up. And remember, it's not a sentence, it's not a life sentence. If I get my arms up and I'm like, it's not comfortable, move and change it. It's okay, it's okay. So I'll move, I'll energize the lines. I'll energize the lines down. I'm pushing, I'm squeezing, I'm activating, I'm reaching, breathing. So all of our forms or all of our lines are active. And breathing 3 more. Our long breath. When we exhale, we can engage that ab work and feel stronger. And 1 more. And as you exhale, let your arms float down either this way or this way. Just keep it organized. And standing for 2 breaths. So we have mountain and we have quiet mountain was the one with the arms down, full mountain with the arms up. Next we'll do half moon. I will say let's grab a block again for this. So before you got here, we were doing putting the block for stability like this. So first you just stood like this and you felt what it feels like. And so now let's feel this. So half moon, the full pose, and all of these, don't worry, we're breaking them down with like minimum an hour each pose, minimum. And so half moon is when I arch over to the side. So we are building on all the concepts that we know. So everything we took from mountain pose, let's really ground down into our feet. Feel the hips really powerful and strong, really engaged through the butt, open. So here, I'm going to inhale my arms up to bring my hands together. You guys are okay, comfortable for shoulders, adjust the shoulders, keep that space. And even if like, they're not all the way up. I have them slightly in front. So feel the difference that we can keep all of that stuff. And you'll figure it out for your stuff as your strength changes. So from here, I'm gonna be, and I wanna start to lift up and over to one side. So I'm going up and over. So we wanna be really aware that the arm doesn't like close over our head. I keep it like this. So again, I might even bend a little more to keep it. So I'm going, what this pose is all about is this part. So I have my verticality up, squeezing, the block will help me. And I want to keep my fingers or my pointing right out of the crown of my head, so we don't adjust it. It stays in relationship with the body, so keeping and breathing. See how much you can reach and go up, because you can go farther if you just collapse, but we want to stay engaged. And inhale, center. You have the option here, let's bring our arms down and just rest for one moment. Feel the difference between each side of the body. Our two integrating breaths, and then inhale the arms up again, same position here, and up and over to the other side. So grounding, and I always reset myself, so don't be shy to reset your body and open. So open the arm from that up. So keeping all that space. And I'm really pulling down with my shoulder on that side. And I don't want to twist or twist. I keep the sternum to the front. So it seems simple, but we're very activated, very working. One more inhale. And exhale, use that strength to bring yourself back and just relax down. Move the blocks to the side and stand for our 2 breaths. Next, we have Utkatasana, awkward pose, or the standing squat. This one is everyone's not favorite one. I'll go a little bit farther apart, my feet. And then think about these hinging lines. We have the bending of the knees here, and we have the hinging of the hips. When I go back, I'm going to try to slide my booty back and keep my back straight. And my weight will go to the back of my heels. This one, I'll show you what the final one looks. We're here, like awkward pose. It's like I'm gonna sit on the couch, but I'm not gonna let myself sit, you know? So it's like I'm gonna sit, but I'm not gonna sit. So I'm kind of like going deeper than the chair pose. It's chair pose. Anyway, you can make your legs wider apart, your feet wider apart. Anyway, so what I like to do for this pose is I like to try it on before I go into it and stay. And remember, a pose is not a jail sentence. You can move if you're like, oh, I hate this, you know, move. So I like to just kind of like go into it and then come out of it. So I kind of also activate my thighs a little bit and get them a little more comfortable. And then you don't always have to have the arms coming up at a diagonal. They can go straight out also. So I have this here. I'm gonna lengthen my low back, and my weight is like that. So far back, if I went any far back, I might go back and hold and breathe. Sometimes also, let's come back up. I don't go to my max of my chair pose. I try it on, like I said, like this, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm going into chair pose. I'll do a breath here. I'll do a breath here, and then I let myself, and I put kind of sink into it. So we're gonna go into 4 breaths, start as you let, and remember we're there for 4 breaths. So we'll start to go back, lengthen, 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 keeping that abs, keeping the rib cage reach. If you like your arms up, go for it. If you like your arms out, just energize those lines. That opposition of balance will keep you really grounded. The thighs should be burning. 2 more breaths. And 1, and when you're ready to come out, I roll my weight forward to the front of the feet and come up. And bring the arms to the side and breathe. So Utkatasana, our awkward pose, our chair pose. Next we have in the sequence A, the 5-pointed star, where we step wide to our mat. And so we think about the concept of the tripods of the feet and all of the other concepts, we're applying them. 5-pointed star is exactly what it sounds like. I'm a star, so I open to the side of your mat. And this is a really good practice for radiation of energy. So when I come here, I'll kind of like let my arms float up. And then I let them settle down and I extend them out. So I want to feel like my arms are being pulled, my chest is being pulled, my tailbone is being pulled down. I'm activating through the feet and I'm lengthening through the top of the head. And I'll breathe. So how we build our strength in these poses, it's not necessarily the pose. They're very simple. It's the breathing inside the pose that makes us more strong. So really test your ribs, stretch your ribs. This is where we'll build our strength. And with a strong breath pattern, we have a more easy, lower resting heart rate, which they've shown that if you take longer to breathe and you're not just breathing shallow and quickly, you actually have a longevity more for your lifespan. We'll inhale, let the arms float up a little on your inhale. And exhale, let them float down. And then we can heel and toe the feet together or step them in and just stand for your 2 integrating breath. So the 2 integrating breaths in between is really important. So just be like, okay, where do I feel a lasting effect? Where do I feel something happening after? So next we have warrior 2, where we'll stand at the front of our mat. I like to think of warrior 2, I'm gonna step my right leg back first and I take my right hand and I kind of open it. So warrior 2 is the wide open one. So I'll take my foot and I'll go straight back. The arch of the back foot is shwaya in line with the heel of the front foot. And the front foot, I have the front knee over the front ankle. I also take my time to adjust my feet so I feel super solid, because that is the nature of the warrior, is to be super solid in the feet. So this arm, I take it across and open my sternum. So my chest is open to the long side of my mat. I have this rotation in the front leg. Rotation, don't worry, we'll geek out on that a lot. And then I reach, and my dristi, or my point of focus, is the fingernail on my middle finger. I'm looking like, just be on that. Don't worry if your arms are parallel or not, just extend. And then open and express, and focus. It's like you're a sniper in warrior, you're like winding it up, yeah, so you want that strength and the pre-attack vibe. Where should I be feeling it a lot? Front inner thigh. 2 more breaths. Breathe. So holding, taking ground, standing ground. Warrior. And then I can drop my arms here. I'll turn my foot and I'll just heel toe. So same way I got out of 5-pointed star, and just stand for 2 breaths. Again, coming to the front of our mat for the other side. Also, if you're like practicing at home, you have the option to just turn and do as you like, but just do this for now. So my left leg will step back, same thing. I open to the front of my space. I open, I want my inner thigh to be forward. And I just ground into the feet. So from here, same thing. Keeping my chest, my sternum forward, open. And towards that fingernail. And stretch and breathe. And I'm really pushing this knee back. Here it's contracting to open that. Two more breaths, extend, adjust, check your spine, check the body, tiny micro adjustments. And inhale, let the arms float a little and let them come down, and I'll heel and toe. And just standing for 2 breaths, so integration. And then next we have warrior one. I don't know what is the reason that they have warrior two and then the one of the sequence. I just trust them for that. You can, again, change the sequence, and we'll talk about that when we get to sequencing, but this is what it is. So warrior two, we open the hips. Warrior one, we keep the hips square to the front. So I'll bring my hands to my hips to like encourage this thinking. And I'll just step my right foot back. Your right foot, it doesn't have to be so far back. What is important here and what am I going for? Front knee over the front ankle. My back leg can be like this. It can be like this. It can be like this. All I care about is keeping my hips square to the front and the front knee over the front ankle. I can be like this. I can be like this. So choose your own adventure with that. Just remember there's key points. Hips square to the front. I can do that a little bit better by squeezing this back glute of the leg that's back to turn my hips more to the front. I don't want them open. So let's find our variation. And I like to have, personally, my fave, I like to push from the back leg like I'm propelling forward a little bit, and then because we go into warrior three later, not that, but when we go there. So I like to be here, and then I can settle down, and if I feel like it, I can do the arms up as we learned in 4 breaths in your variation. So I have this thighs actively working to stay open and rotate outward slightly. And pushing and engaging with that back glute. And it opening through the front of my hip of the leg that's back. I'm really trying to feel taller here. And 2 more breaths. And you can bring the arms down or back to the hips, and I'll just step the feet together and step for 2 breaths. So now, even with these low impact movements, I'm feeling my heart rate is raising, I'm feeling heat in my body. I'm like, I didn't even do that much, but it's just my focus and my presence and my intentionality. It's like, if someone's like raging and you can just feel them raging, you're like, whoa, I can feel you from here. So it's kind of like we have that ability to bring that energy, and even just through the breath. The breath is their meter of like our power output. So we'll get ready for the other side. Yeah, let's switch it. And then I'll kind of line myself up, get that front knee over the front ankle. You can stay here or have your students stay here with the hands on the hips. Like if they're kind of like struggling balance wise, often the reason for this is because they're not like pressing into the floor. So again, you can offer them more pressing and more engagement, or if they just can't, you can just say leave your hands on the hips is fine. If it's there for you, you can bring your arms up. And we breathe and we extend. So again, I like to do maybe little micro movements. I'll check my neck, I'll check through my ribs, I'll reach, I'll try to open through here, I'll ground down. Maybe I could take a little more stretch. I kind of check my first 2 breaths. And you can stay longer than 4 breaths for sure, but 4 when you're teaching beginners, if you have classes of beginners to start, is a really more than enough for them. Especially if they're breathing like long and strong. And 1 more inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, you can bring your arms and then step the legs together and stand and receive. Next, we'll turn to the wide part of our mat, and we'll go wide on our mat. You're welcome to bring 1 or 2 blocks to the side. We have wide leg forward bend. So my weight in this one is more on the inside of my feet. And You can have it, your legs straight or with a little bend, it's up to you. So I always start with a little bend because it's more safe for my movement to always have a little bit of bend. And then I'm gonna kind of like lengthen and come up and out. And I'll come to halfway with a little bend first, supported on my hands here. And I'm like, okay, how's this going today? And then if it's there for me, I can allow my hands to slide down. Or if being fully upside down is a little too much, you can have your blocks and just kind of be in the pike position like this. Aside. So I really want, and I like to push myself back. I'm trying to lengthen my torso as much as I can. So you can be here. There's many variations you can do with the upper body, or you can simply hang on. You can grab the back of the legs. Or be in this position, and we'll breathe. So again, think about the back ribs stretching. I'm breathing, my feet are connected to the floor, I'm energizing my line. So my foot line through my leg, it's going out through my sits bones and my tailbone, and then out of the crown of my head. One more breath. When I'm ready to come up from this, I'll soften my knees a little more. I'll come up to my halfway. And then you can bend a little more and come up rolling, or you can come up flat back. It's still early, so we can roll. And then healing, toeing the feet together. And just receive. Wide leg forward fold is also a crossover pose that can be done in a yin style, where we take the same foot foundation and we just like hang down. For me today, I'm not going down because my sinus, like it's like anytime I go upside down, my sinus like it gets more. So I will give you the cue. So if you feel like it, you guys go ahead, but I just have to monitor my monitor my sinus. The next one, this is so, what's the name of this place? Wide leg, forward fold. Wide leg, and then forward fold. Anyway, it's not very creative, it's just, it's just literally what it is. Yeah, literally what it is. When we go into the pose, each pose detail, we'll do the Sanskrit name also, but it's depending on the school of yoga you teach at, if you're working for a studio, it's not. I don't want to say, I was thinking of that last night because I said a few things and it's not important. It is important in the right context.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the right context, the things are important. But for learning purposes, and especially in your weekend one, I don't want to just dump a bunch of words that have no meaning to you on your brain. You know,
Yeah.
I'm very aware of how brains absorb information because I love information. And so especially in this weekend, I'm trying to just like be as streamlined and practical as possible because we have time with all of this. So the next one we have is balancing angle. It's kind of like a pre-warrior 3. And you'll see what I mean when we go further. So I come into the same position as my mountain pose, and I'm gonna take my right leg back in like a very extended position. So I'm gonna bring my other arm up here beside my ear, and then I'm gonna lean forward, extend forward. This might be your pose for today. If it's there for you, I'm gonna just let my leg continue the line back. And I'm in an angle. And I'm pushing, and I'm pushing, and I'm breathing. And I'm trying not to open like this, I'm trying to, so again, we'll detail this pose, don't worry, I'm rotating my back leg inward, because if I rotate it out, like if I open my foot out, it makes me feel more out. If I rotate my foot in, it helps me stay close. I'll pick a line on the ground to focus. And your supporting leg can have a little bend. And one more inhale, stretch. And exhale, come in. And receive, observe each side. We'll get set up for the other side, so I'll just extend that leg back. And again, the rotation is huge. We will geek out on rotation a lot. So what I mean by rotation, when I turn my foot open, that's external rotation. It's happening from here. When I turn in, that's internal rotation. So when I have my leg front or back, if I externally rotate, it's gonna open me like warrior two. If I internally rotate, it's gonna keep me zipped to the front. That way versus that way. So let's get set up for that. The leg is back, the opposite arm is up. And again, it can be here, or you can have it more in line with the ear. And I'm gonna kind of push off that back foot and lengthen, 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 and find a point that I can just check on the floor and kind of make my vision internal and feel. How's my skeleton lined up? I'm pushing through that other arm that's down, I'm pushing through, I have this extension, opposition. 2 more breaths. One more. And exhale, bring it in. And stand for 2 breaths. So we're in our little balancing section. Next we have tree pose. Tree pose, we have a few variations that we can do. I'm gonna open my right leg, rotate, and bring my foot here. This is for carrying from foot like this. I'll bring my hands to this so I can rotate. Option 1 is you don't need to take your foot off the floor. If you're like balance is shit, my balance is pretty decent. But there's days when I'm on my period, when the ceiling is low, like the clouds are low, the pressure does something with my balance. Every day it's different, you know, so just be aware. And maybe one day you're more awesome and one day you're like, oh, I can't, like it's normal. So I open option 1 is I can bring my foot here, even here, and just hold like this. Option 2 is I can bring the foot just above the ankle. Option 3 is below the knee. People do this one a lot here. This is a no to do in tree pose because it compromises the knee joint. If you want to go higher than that, you bring your foot up. And I'm pushing the leg against the foot. I have this resistance. And I'm coming up. And then this is option 1. Well, option 1C. And then from here, you can bring the arms up. And it can be like through the center, it can be through the side, as you wish. I should be tucking my core as much as you can. Always, the core is like, and here I'm rotating, this glute muscle is rotating. And you can have the arms in that. Remember, we talked about that. You can be here as you look. And we're breathing. And I'm always kind of adjusting, seeing how I can have my hips level as possible. Yeah, not on the knee. I went here. If my balance is like today, I'm not so sure, and I need to be here, it's okay. And reaching this verticality. And one more. And I'll bring my hands down, and you can shape your supporting leg if you need to. And then I transition to the other side. After teaching for so many years, I've seen some consistencies in people. One consistency is that most people are better balancing on their left leg than their right leg. Across the board, I don't know, maybe because most of the population's right-handed. So the left ends up being like a support, like so if you're gonna like kick a ball, I support, I get ready, I don't even think to do that, I'm not like, now I'm gonna get ready, I just, because I'm right-handed, my body does it automatically, so I think it has something to do with that, but I'm not 100%. So we just balance on the left, usually I start with the left, because it's people's better side. And so now I'll turn the left leg out. And then I'll just get ready for the same thing. First, I'll check my balance. We did it a little bit in balancing angle. Can be here or here. Just remember, like, there's no extra points for having, it's really like, what is the purpose of the pose? Super deep alignment and balance and strength. So I can get that when I'm here. And up here, it doesn't make, but I mean, sometimes it feels more nice up there. You can be there. But it's not always the final objective. So from here, I can have my hands here or here, and then I'll bring them up. Breathe. And I'm always adjusting, so I'm thinking of this rib, hip position. I'm pressing and pressing. The foot into the inner thigh and the inner thigh into the foot. They're equally as strong against each other. And a little squeeze in the glutes. One more breath. Then bring it down and slowly I'll turn my knee to the front. And standing for 2 breaths. So next, before we start to go towards the floor with our poses, we have one more standing pose called the yoga mudra. And so I go into the same position when we went into the Katasana and we went into the awkward pose, but I bring my hands behind my back. I clasp my fingers together. Let me show you what it looks like. I'll just kind of go down. Watch my knee and hip joint hinging. I'm reaching down, 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 down until my torso kind of comes on my thigh. You can stay here, or you can let the arms come up. However, I'm not forcing, like I'm just gravity. And keeping the palms together. So find your position for that. Again, it doesn't have to be so upside down, it can be. And then opening, open through the front of the chest and the collarbones, breathing. And breathing. And when you're ready to come up, we can let the hands rest on the back and just come up the way we went down. Start to straighten the legs, let it press you upward. And then releasing my hands, standing for 2 breaths. So we have a standing yoga mudra and we have a seated yoga. I don't know if seated yoga mudra is. Oh yeah, it's later. Coming soon. And we have also seated yoga mudra, which is the same thing. Just seated is like we're in the child's pose and we're down on the floor. So from here, let's transition down to the floor. So whenever a teacher said that, you can always take your favorite choice. And if you don't know what that is, develop it. So you can think of like inhaling and folding like we were doing last night. You can just fold down, go down, one knee and one knee at a time, and then coming all the way down. I'm gonna be one knee, one knee. I'm gonna take my knees back and then elbow, elbow. We're gonna come down into our cobra sequence. So let's come down to the floor. We have a few different cobras that we have in our pose list. And I'll start with the baby cobra. So depending on the population of people you're working with, what area of the back are we working with here? Thoracic and cervical, so the neck and the upper back. If we're working with older people, often their neck and back is like very frozen and it's very difficult for them to make movements. So you can't expect them to be like, because it just won't happen. So we start like this. So we're with the head down, and when I inhale, I'll also walk my body. I want to be as long as I can. So I'll walk my hips back. And I'll kind of widen my hips out and we talked about the tripod in the feet. I have now the tripod in my pelvis, my two hip bones and my pubic bone. Sometimes the pubic bone down feels bad. And you can simply double your mat under, like, or put a towel under for a little support. So for here, I'll just have my head down and I'll inhale. And let my gaze run across the floor, and I'm kind of looking to the top of the iPad, like here. And then I'll exhale. So with a population that's a little more frozen or even healthy, you can start them like this. And every time you inhale, just come up moving with the breath. So coordinating movement and breath. And exhale down. And two more, just take your time. I'm thinking of lengthening. Oh, these flies, I love to leave the door open, but they come in. And one more. Often for some populations, this is enough for them. You know, it might feel very small because you guys are younger, but for a lot of populations, if you work with older people, this is already kind of stressy for them. So we have this baby cobra like this. Next, we can think of Sphinx. I bring the elbows under the shoulders and I'll have my head down. So we have a different variety in yin. We're not doing yin right now, we're doing hatha. And then we have one for this, so just remember yin and hatha cobra is different. I'll bring my elbows in, I'll push into the ground with my elbows and go for that arch in my back. And I need to squeeze my cheeks, my butt cheeks for my lower cheeks for support for my low back. Like if you release your butt and you feel your low back, you have more compression where the lumbar spine and the sacrum meet. When I squeeze, presses my hip bones more into the floor and supports, lengthens my low back a little more. So push down and extend. I'm also feeling like my chest is pulling forward. It's like I'm almost have that energy of pulling forward like that. And I'll breathe. My shoulders are open, my collarbones are open. Even if you want to go a little wider, people say put the elbows under the shoulders, but maybe you need a little more space. Or women that have a bigger chest definitely need a little more space. Also, if you're dealing with bodies that are bigger bodies, they might need, belly down is difficult for them. So they might need more space. Or it's like when you work with women, like bigger women, and you put them on their back, their boobs fall onto their face.
Yeah.
They can't breathe, you know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't work, like sensation based on life, we need it. Like now you're drowning in your own poop, I'm sorry. I need to change my class plan. And then exhale and let yourself come down. Here, I'll bring my arms back and I'll turn my head to one side and I'll just chill. You can also, when you're in baby cobra, we did it with the forehead down. We came up. You can come up and turn the head to one side, and come up and turn the head to the other side if you like also. There's lots of variations. And then we have full cobra, venomous cobra. And that's when you press the hands into the floor and come up. If it's too much compression in your low back, just don't. And be aware to tell people that. So I squeeze my glutes before I come up and then up. I like to go a little wider for this. And I don't need to be like, here. I care, but I don't need it. What do I want more? I want to feel that extension, that shape. Your elbows bent and holding. We have a similar one in yin. We start the same, but then we hang out. Here we're very engaged, squeezed. So a lot of the differences, hatha and yin, you'll start with the same form, but it's your energy within the form that makes it hatha or yin. And breathing. So our counter pose always forever, when you're in a cobra of any kind, the pose that we do after is a child's pose. It's the opposite shape for the body. One more inhale and exhale. I pull myself forward. I lengthen my spine after that compression. I'll bring my hands under the shoulders and press back. And then feel the work that you did in your back, the compression, and just stretch it out. When you come into child's pose, your knees can be together. They can be more wide apart. Find what you like. Again, if I'm working with a population with a bigger body, a really juicy lady as an example, she has a belly, she has chest. It's not gonna fit right on top of her legs, so she's gonna need to go wide. And then also, like we were doing the blocks last night, they might need a little bit of lift. So just like pay attention, make sure people are not smothering in their own skin. And just rest and breathe. So this is kind of our intermittent halfway point. You can give a little longer than 4 breaths here when you're running your class. And you can also encourage some like light micro movements if they need it.
Keep my arms being engaged.
Oh, no, they don't have to be, and they can even, you can, anytime you come to child, you can keep the arms stretched out if you like, or you can also, if you wanna be super passive and resting, you can bring the arms into your side. Your head can be also forehead down or turned to one side. Think about like if you see like a little baby, they kind of, or toddlers, they kind of pass out like this. I don't know how they do it. Just rest another couple breaths here. And slowly I'll bring my arms front and push them into the ground. And then I'll just sit for a little integration. So just coming up and sitting, it's like my 2 breath standing pose. I'm just gonna check body scan myself. Okay. I don't feel tired, but I feel like I did something cool. Your yoga practice is not intended to just like exhaust you, it's intended to enter, you can build, again, build your prana or build your energy from it. And then while I'm going through all these points, I'm thinking of my breath, I'm thinking of my balance and my rotation and my alignment, I'm not worrying about anything else. I didn't think about I have to buy some more oat milk, or I didn't think I need to like check on my gums. I didn't think anything. I'm just like in my experience, and that is what our mindfulness is, or that is what when we say de-stress or the detanglement, that's kind of, focusing on the self. Before we continue, I'll tell you a little anecdote. So after this March, I have an older half sister that she has stage 4 cancer, and she came to be with me in Ramadan. And it was the worst month of my life, astaghfirullah, it really was. And caring for someone so sick is really, really, really stressy. So after she left, I was like not good. I was just like very disturbed. I was very disturbed. I identify so strongly with my physicality that to just see someone who is also like me, strong, beautiful, capable, to be just like destroyed completely physically. I got very disturbed, like very much. And I was like trying to get back into my routine, and I was walking around talking to myself in my house, as one does. And I was like, what do I need today? And then I said out loud, I need help. So I realized that I was in like a fight or flight. I was beyond fight or flight. I was in freeze. And I couldn't feel some of my body because I was like, I didn't do my practice, and I just like couldn't. Like I was like, like, like freeze. So I went to one of my energy workers, I was like, dude, I need help, like, so he put me through some, he didn't do a lot, honestly, he like just was there, and I was like, I had to just talk what I was going through, and I was like, I need to just move in my body. Um, and move out of this freeze position. So after that, I realized like I had been traveling a lot, and that I didn't even have 3 days in my home that were the same. So my nervous system was just like shot, and then dealing with that was just like the final thing. I was like to finish till us. I was like, I can't do anything. I'm like, I need to really repair myself. So I said, okay, I need to do my self-care. And then I was like, I'm doing it. How come it's not working? How come I don't feel good? I'm doing self-care, I'm moisturizing, I'm meditating, I'm doing like fuck you self-care. How come it's not working? And I realized self-care is not just a list of things I can do or things I can buy. It was actually my presence with my own self. And I realized I wasn't being present with myself. I was going through these actions, being like, well, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I'm why, how come I'm not better? How come I don't feel unstressed? I'm so stressed. Why don't I feel stressed? Why don't I feel unstressed? And I realized that, I was still talking to 800 people a day in my day. I have a big network, okay? And so I put myself on quarantine. Like I did went to 2020 and I put myself on quarantine and I didn't talk to anyone. First, I did 3 weeks. I went off of social media. I disappeared. I told some friends, yo, I'm on quarantine. Check on me every 72 hours if I'm alive. And then that's it. I didn't talk to anyone. And then slowly over the month, I like had maybe 3 people that I was like, yo, can I just come over and chill? I don't want to even talk. I just want to be in a room with someone, but I don't want to even do anything. I needed someone to hold space for me just to exist. And so during this time, it's super interesting for me. I mean, alhamdulillah, I have the space in my life that I could take 8 weeks and quarantine myself. A lot of people can't do that, but thank God I can do that. And my biggest insight from that was my presence with myself. So self-care is not just doing the yoga or taking the class. It's like when I'm in it, there's nothing else, And so when we're in it and we're going through our list of things that we have to do, we're not really in it and we're kind of wasting our time. Yes, we'll get a little benefit from it. Like, yeah, I feel like I move my body a bit. But if I want that samadhi, that bliss feeling as much as I can, let's turn it up as much as I can, the more I can leave the external world and responsibilities and just be in my experience, the more you'll get from it, and the more nervous system reset, and you'll walk away actually with a complete experience versus just a half experience and still being distracted and bothered. Of course, some days are better than others for sure. But just my anecdote, the point is like when you're in your practice or you're moisturizing your body, you're doing your face care routine, just be with yourself. I'm doing this right now. And that's all I'm doing. It's been proven. I love to say I'm a multitasker. Like, oh, I'm super well. It's been proven we don't actually multitask. But we don't actually. We think we are, but we're like, if we have like 70% of our attention here and 30 here, it's not going to actually be the 30 over here. It's like it's not going to be the result that we want. So when we think we're saving time by layering our attention and our tasks, we're actually like screwing ourselves. We're stealing from ourselves at this time. So I had to have a really hard realization about that. But now I feel like I can like really share what it meant, for presence. And that was a super important lesson. I mean, for me, I've been teaching meditation and yoga for 15 years. So imagine like what a rude reality that was for me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm self-care queen. And then I was like, oh, I'm not doing it, So it was like, again, that observation and acceptance of we can always get better. And just because we have room to get better doesn't mean we're bad. Yeah, we can be awesome and still have room to get better. So now let's move into our floor series. We started with Cobra. Our next one is Pigeon. So Pigeon, I'll give you two options. Pigeon and Figure 4 are the same pose. Some of your clients, they won't be able to do pigeon, it's difficult on their knee. So pigeon is this one, we start here. And we come into the position, you can have a block if someone's high, you can use your block, you can be supportive. If this is like looking very awkward for someone, like there's a difference between being tight and I can work on it, like I was saying, tension and compression, which one is which. Or it's just like, they're not getting anything out of that shape and it's just harsh stressing them out.
Yeah.
Don't do that to them and don't do it to yourself. So another option, because if we think of it like the segment, now I'm going into my yin mind. I think of it as the segment of the body, I have the glute and the IT band are the external. So when I do figure four, it's the same thing. And it's just less weight on the knee. So I have some clients over the years that one side they do pigeon, one side they do figure four, but it's because you offered them the option. So just remember, try it if you're feeling like, oh god, this is not working for me, because what is the point of the pose? It's not to get in a shape that looks like it. I'm doing it, guys, like, are you though? You know, so the point is what I'm focusing on at that time. So let's line ourselves up for either figure four or pigeon. Dancer's choice, yogi's choice. You can also have your blocks in the front. I like to have my blocks. For this one, we have a different name in. I can't remember, I always go penguin or something like that, I don't know why. You can in and out, which is just kind of relax into it. I like to move within it. Or you can take the upper body option that we do in Cobra if you want to. Or you can just relax. I like to use my back leg and go back and really get the max stretch. If I walk my body away from the leg, I can get even more. So just you can experiment a little bit with your angles. We'll do our 4 breaths here. And I'm really trying to think of lightly that hip down as much as I can. And I just want to feel stretch and open through that side of the body, the thigh. And slowly, you can bring yourself back to center. I'm gonna push up in my arm and take that leg back. I like to extend after and maybe shake a little bit, and I'm gonna get it set up for the other side. So now I'll just bring my right knee down and bring my left leg forward and opposite of whatever you just did. There's a few different schools of yoga, and we'll get into this when we detail each pose, don't worry. There's some that say, I want the shin bone aligned with the foot. Don't worry about this for now. We're not in my sort of yoga here, and that's not even possible for a lot of people. I like to go between as a teacher, I like to keep people challenged and engaged, but I also don't want to stress people out, you know? It's not the point. It's like, you know, do what you can, and if you're being more lazy, you're just stealing from yourself, it's fine, it doesn't bother me. But also like let your students, let yourself have the room for changes and adjustments and whatever you need, because life is crazy. I don't need to stress myself out of yoga poses, you know? Two breaths, lengthening. And slowly push into the floor. I'll bring my torso back. Line, push into my hands. Move that line back. Then I'll bring the knees in. The next form or the next pose is our seated yoga mudra. So there's a few options I'll show you. When we go into the pose and breathe, I'm not gonna do it because it's full upside down, but I'll show you guys. So you have a few options. It's kind of like child's pose in this one, where I'm here. This is option one, or you can roll up to the top of your head like this. And really pull the arms back. Remember, I am hyper flexible in my arms and I have long arms to torso ratio, so it looks like my arms are going way farther, but it's not necessary. Really, what we're doing here is we're lifting the scapula, like when you go back, you can feel the scapula lift a bit. And I'm also stretching through here. I can let this collapse more a little bit, but I wanted to try to always stay open through here. So you can bring your body down, and I bring my forehead down, and I'll roll up. And I'll find my position. Coming into, yes, yeah, go upside down. Coming into your yoga mudra pose. So let's slowly go for that. And if your students have with congestion, they can be here. And just bring the arms up. You can feel having the pressure on the head. You can also use the block to have the pressure on the head region. Another 4 breaths. So coming into your yoga mudra, then letting your arms go up or back, but doesn't have to be so far. And then bringing the arms back onto the back and slowly letting yourself roll up out of that. So just back into our seated position.
Those are risks, or the people who have issues in their neck.
It depends how much weight they put on their heads. So everyone's neck issues are different for sure. Anytime that we have the head down, it's a great question. Anytime that we have the head down, like when, do you remember when we did threading the needle yesterday? And I was like, keep the weight of your butt back. So this is another great example of that, because like, if I'm here and I'm bringing myself way too far up, that's when I'll have problems. So maybe people with a cervical problem, you could put them here. And they don't need to go, or they could just like lift a little bit. They're gonna be engaged. It's like I pick myself from here. And they can just go here. And then if they have a no-go, usually people with a neck problem, something very delicate, they will tell you, no, I can't do that. No, so you can encourage them, okay, just sit and do this. Yeah, good question. And then we go into all of those, like now we're doing practice as I would teach a new group. Maybe they saw these poses before, probably didn't. Maybe you guys have seen them, I don't know for sure. So I'm just kind of teaching like as I would if I arrived to a new gym and I was doing this type of format. But when we go into all the poses detailing them, we go through all the contraindications and what to watch out for and things like that. So next we have the bridge. So we'll come down. Bridge is really great for your glutes and your supporting muscles. It's pretty much the reverse of Cobra, like where Cobra we were down on the belly. And I super recommend if you do have exercise bands for your own practice, it's not necessary as younger teachers, but for your own practice to have an exercise band, those elastic bands, is really helpful to engage the adductors. So I'll come down onto my back and I'll like lengthen myself as always. And then if you guys want to watch me do one and then go into it, you're welcome. So I'm gonna bring my hands under. And I'll bring my feet close to my hips and knees hip distance apart. So from here, I'm gonna squeeze my glutes and lift and bring my shoulders under. And reach, like my hands are reaching down almost to my ankles. And I squeeze and press up. So from here, I'll just watch my belly rise and fall and breathe. Come down. So when I come down, I kind of like roll down. So from that, the main points we're looking for is just like the pubic bone going straight up. So let's try this one and opening to the front of the hips. The hands tied behind you is not necessary, but it gives you a little more support. You can also have the palms down, pressing down really strongly. So let's find our starting position and we'll go up. Inhale and exhale. Then press your feet into the floor and lift. I think like I'm curling my tailbone up between the knees. Up, 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 lift. And squeeze. Two more breaths. Inhale, exhale, and slowly roll down. One vertebrae at a time. Your counter stretch for this is to bring your knees into your chest if you need it. And breathe. So from this position, we're gonna let's just hold onto our right knee and extend the left leg along the floor. So we have knee down, twist, have it. So I'm holding this knee. I have my back on the floor. I'm going to take my leg across the body for a twist. So don't concern yourself if you bring it all the way to the floor or not. You can even have, I'll show you from this side, you can even have a block to bring your knee on a block like this. And you can still have the benefits of the twist. I like to bring one arm up and I get a little more stretch through my side ribs and my side waist. So I start with like a knee into the chest. They call this one wind relieving pose, actually. You say that one for when your boyfriend's over your husband. And then bring the leg across. And we have a twist. And breathe. So noticing in the twist, one side of our rib cage is more free to breathe than the other side. It's normal. When you're ready to come back to neutral, I bring my arm in and grab my knee with it and I kind of guide my knee back to center. I'll place that foot on the floor, straighten out my body, switch legs. So start with wind relieving pose or knee to chest pose. And then when I align my back, I'll just take that knee across the body. I place it on the block. If you don't need the block, it's cool. Or if you want the block and feel like you need it, it's also cool. And open.
The resting leg should be kept straight, right?
The lengthen one, yeah, but it's not, you don't have to be like so straight. It's okay to be kind of like how you are is good. I would say like try the block under your knee, even it will keep your body more straight. If you want to work on focusing on your alignment, it will keep you from being more twisted. If you want that relief of the opening and your body's loving it, then try that. I would want to become very familiar for our own selves. We want to know, do I feel like blocked today? We get to know that about ourselves. That's always our choice. And inhale, and we'll bring that arm center and bring that leg back center. And then we can go in for full body stretch. And then from here, we can do both knees to chest. So from here, we go from knees to chest, you can hold them. You have them a little wide, and then I like to circle my low back into the floor during this time. And do knees to chest. And if you just like knees to chest holding, you don't have to add any movement, but it's a nice opportunity for movement. So now we're gonna get ready to go into Shavasana or our final resting. So take any final movements that you need. Be aware if you'd like to put a block behind your head for resting. And then you can slowly lengthen your legs along the floor. Remember in Shavasana, you want to be heavy and comfortable. It's totally fine to have the knees caved in and resting on one another. It's totally fine to have one leg bent, one leg straight, as you like. Shavasana translates into corpse pose. So find a corpse pose, heavy, relaxed, unburdened. Then let's breathe and integrate. So moving through our practice, this morning it was really like slow and steady. We didn't bring the breath rate up, we didn't bring the heart rate up too high, it was really just steady infusion of prana and air and engagement of the body. So super mellow practice. If we were to engage our breath stronger, we would have a stronger, more sweaty practice, we'll do it. But today this was like a gentle Kripalu style class. So observe your body, observe the rise and the fall of your breath, the rise and the fall of your belly as you breathe. Allow integration into the body. So again, energizing, lengthening, aligning. Those were the actions that we did, not just buzzwords from the internet. So receive the effects of that on the body. See if you notice the difference in the body since our morning when we arrived and woke up to now. Our subtle but very moving practice to display that the body doesn't need to be abused or to be really like squeezed or assaulted to have positive strength and changes, physiological effect. And just following your breath with your awareness. And stay with the breath for another 4 breaths, breathing in through the nose if it's possible for you. And on our next inhale, make it a little bit bigger than what's been happening, extend. Pull a little more air in. And on our following inhales, begin to bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, bring some energy into the ankles. And from there, you can extend your arms overhead, reach your legs, full body stretch. Big inhale. And as you exhale, you can roll yourself over to one side. And we're gonna slowly move mindfully, but transition to a seating position. And we'll go into a short meditation using Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. So taking your time, coming up to a seated position. Remember, seated position can be supported with blocks under the knees or on the block. Try to keep a nice melty feeling. And sitting up nice and tall. So for Nadi Shodhana, I take my right hand and I will block my right nostril. So I have my pinky, it's like, I will block my right nostril. I'll breathe in through the left nostril. I take my pinky, I block the left, I exhale through the right. And then I inhale through the right. I use my thumb, I block the right, I exhale through the left. And then I inhale through the left. And block the left and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Blocking and exhaling through the opposite. Inhaling from the same. Block and exhale. The other side. Inhale from the same side. Block and exhale through the opposite side. Inhale from the same side. Block and exhale from the opposite side. Inhale from the same side. So we're blocking and exhaling through one side. Inhaling through that same side, keep it going. We'll do 4 more rounds. Blocking, exhale. Yeah. Blocking and exhale. And inhale. Blocking. Exhale. So to end Nadi Shodhana sequence, my last inhale will be through my right nostril. So finish and then take your inhale from your right, I block the right, I exhale through the left nostril. Alasmanda, I'll breathe freely through both nostrils. And just sit and receive. So just feeling the benefits, the aftershock of our practice. Just feeling your nervous system calm yet alert. And so then we'll close our practice with an If you haven't before, it's okay, just try to blend in with me and we'll break it down over the course of the week, the weekend. So I'll inhale and is the 3 vowel sounds. Well, 2 vowel sounds in it. So we'll start with the we want to feel it resonating in the nose, and then the O is a little deeper, and the is much deeper. So I'll breathe in and begin. And I'll do 2 more times. So when you're finished, then just breathe in again. Observe the body, observe the vibe, observe your energy body, our aura, as the kids call it. We can bring our hands to the side, winding through the collarbones. Deep breath in and exhale. And we'll inhale the hands up. And palms meet in the center, exhale, bringing the hands to the heart. Namaste. So we'll have a little short break after our practice. Take your time to soak up this vibe as long as you want. Make a tea. We're gonna go into breaking down some poses next. So if you want to have your tea and your book, whatever, use the bathroom. We'll take like 7 to 10 minutes. How do you guys feel? Good. Yeah, it's hard to be in a bad mood when you're oxygenated,
Yeah.
you know, like I have lots of oxygen, I feel very peaceful, I feel like the world is quiet. It's also Friday morning in Egypt, it's the one time that this place feels peaceful. And then that's kind of, yeah. Yeah, for now, and then like after dark, they're like, oh, yeah. It's the nighttime attack. Exactly, but yeah, take your time, make your tea, have a break, I'm gonna pause the.
I feel very strong and grounded.
Good. And it's like when I was a newer yogi, I would feel like this practice, I would